Okay, I'm actually here. Hello, folks. Oh my god. Sorry, guys. I was finishing up from another show, so I had a few little things to deal with, and I am on in a different location right now. So, actually in my bedroom. Anyway, hello, folks, and welcome to Restore Belief. Robert, can you let me know if you can actually hear me or not, please? Would very much appreciate that. And I never got the chance to notify certain people, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of business here. I do apologize for that. There we go. Okay, so, a lot going on today. Okay, I am going to have to flip the volume down on that. Okay, yeah, you are heard and seen. Thank you, Robert. I very, very much appreciate that. Oh God, I need to write that down. Okay, so next week otherwise I will forget. Okay. Whew. Yay. Okay, let me get this over here and posted. Sorry, folks. It's been a really wild, rockin' day today, to say the very least. I ended up having a prime angel in my home, and that was extremely shocking. So, yeah, and to say the least, very, 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 very shocking. Anyway, there's two of you here. I'm not sure who's here. I see, hey Drew. Okay, with anything left, I'll start seeing the mouse looking thing again. Did first. Jim's camera. Hi, Jim. Okay. Right now. All right. So I don't even know where to begin. Quite honestly, I just do not know where to freaking begin. There's been so much taking place. Oh gosh, let's see. Any ideas? Anything that you guys want to talk about at this moment? Any specific subject matters? God, I'm out of it. Sorry, folks. It's truly been a wild wild ride today. You try having a 80-foot archangel, was not archangel, prime angel in your home. It's a mind bender, a true mind bender. Anyway, I am checking out. Hello, I see you. Hi. There are certain people watching. Anyway, all right. And I don't have my light. Optimus? What do you mean, Optimus? Whoops, I hit the wrong button. Anyhow, oh my gosh. I should have made it for 12:30, but that's just live. Oh, Prime. Oh, yeah, Prime Angel. I knew what Optimus was, but my brain wasn't connecting. I'm sorry. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Oh my god. Who am I looking for? Oh, there's a name, because that's the one that I... Oh my goodness. Anyhow, I hope you guys have had a good evening, good afternoon. There are a number of things that I wanted to talk about, such as different experiences. Tonight on the S4 Paranormal Bunker, we had quite the conversation about ET experiences, and about angels, about body reacting to ETs. Robert knows, because he was there. Anyhow, oh, come on. Get off my little screen. Thank you. Okay. Ba-dum, boom. Anyway. Okay, now business side is done, and somebody else is just smiling away. Hi. Anyhow, uh, anyway, so let's see. So there are some names I want to say before I forget. Again, Juniper or Jupiter. I don't know why, but that's for somebody specific. I don't understand why. Um, Petunia was another one that I received this afternoon, and we're not talking the plant, folks. We're talking names. Create magic in your life, jumpstart your life, truth in life. Collect joy, pieces, and freedom. And teacher. Those were the words that came during different things that were taking place today. So delve deep, take a look into those subjects, see where they take you. They may be different things that you want to talk about with people, or they may be things that you can do a deep dive on. I knew I missed sending the link to somebody, and I tried to make sure I do that. Anyhow, keep thinking I'm seeing, and it is, but it's my other things. Okay, why did I click on that? Anyhow, I had all these things I was wanting to talk about, and now I'm not popping into any of them. Whoops. Damn. Phone's acting weird. Anyway, so with prime angels, there we go. Oh, mother pucker. Come on. There we go. So with prime angels, they're very, very tall. Very tall. Frighteningly how tall they are. Yeah, there we go. So prime angels end up. I always stop counting after 25 feet because they are so huge. It's frightening to me as to how huge, how big they really are. In a minute. There we go. So basically, when you're dealing with something that big, hey Amy, when you're silly device, whoopsie doodle. All right, this is just being obnoxious. There we go. When prime angels are that big, they really become quite a giant. I believe this one is way over 80 feet. I'll say between 70 and 80 feet, but I really stopped counting at 25 feet. They're just so massive. And the energy is just incredible. I mean, as a psychic who does energy work, who does different different things. Let's see if I can do this. Bring this down just a no, that's not gonna work. All right. As you can see, sorry, go doop 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 doop. There we go. That's the exact opposite. But anyway, you see my walker. I don't use it very often, but if I have to have it, that's where it's gonna be right now. Anyway, so the energy of these beings can be very, very intense. And as a psychic who deals with energy to begin with, it can get very difficult because their own energy is so powerful and so strong that it's overwhelming, and they could potentially knock you out. I mean, literally knock you out. What on earth is going on? Sorry, guys. Got some other situation taking place, but of course. There we go. Let's try that there. So you basically have to ask them to tone their energy down in order to handle dealing with them. And it can be quite the overwhelming sensation. Anyhow, I don't even know where to go with it. There was so much information that this specific prime angel wanted me to talk about. One of them is how the essential message publicly that does need to be talked about is how important it is that in the coming 3 months that we take care of each other, that we take care of ourselves, that we do not freak out over the things that are taking place, because it literally is about shifting societies, shifting humans to be better. I'm not saying it the way he said it, because if I say it that way, it will freak people out. And that is not, I mean, he's like, yes, make this public, but be careful in how you phrase it. Well, that's kind of a problem with me. But anyway, so I'm going to do the best that I can to talk about what was told to me. And I find it interesting that it falls on the heels of something else that had taken place today. So I've had 3, this is the third, well, technically this is the fourth. I've had 3 very big things take place today, huge, in fact, and then this one with the prime angel. And when I say that you see a foot, and only a portion of the leg, that's because that's how big they are. It is mind-bending how big they are. I didn't even know that they were in existence. To be quite honest, I mean, I knew that there were giants. Well, this goes beyond a giant. This is way beyond anything. So, and this is the only second time. The first time He was seen. I was on a call with other people, and all the hierarchy showed up at that given moment in time. It was beautiful, but it was really, really intense. And this time around, I asked this specific prime angel to please be careful when he left so that he didn't nearly rupture my eardrums like he did last time. Please be careful with leaving, because I didn't want my eyeballs to pop out of my brain, pop out of my skull, because that's how it felt last time. It was a really, really big deal. So these entities, these beings, they're gigantic, and the power that they have with them. I mean, this thing literally dropped the electricity the second it showed up. Not only did I get nailed energetic wise, but it literally dropped the electricity in my apartment, which was mind bending to me. Absolutely mind bending. And I know I've got certain friends who are going to be, sorry, I'm tired. I wasn't even sure I was going to be doing this tonight because I really, really was not okay. It's kind of mind bendingly scary how not okay I was right after this took place. Because I could not, he literally kept me. I had walked into my kitchen because, well, that's not originally where I walked, but I walked into one location and then I walked into my kitchen and recognized as soon as I got information from him that I needed to up my electrolytes because my electrolytes were plummeting really, really badly. And that got very scary for me. And I knew that I had to be at the top of my game at that given moment in time. And in order to do that, and in order to maintain me, that meant when you deal with energy work like this, you have to have electrolytes. You have to. It is vital for your body. So that's what I did. I got a bottle of electrolytes out of the refrigerator, and thank God I had it in the fridge because it wasn't going to be there last night or today. And so anyway, so I got it out, and I haven't drank that fast in a long time. I mean, not of electrolyte. It was just insane how fast I was. It was almost to the point of chugging it. That's not normal for me, which told me how badly this was affecting my body. And so my potassium levels were dropping, which reminds me, I need to write that down. I need to make sure that I take, because your potassium levels, your sodium levels will significantly drop. So I need to do potassium tonight. And a touch of sodium. So, yeah, that can make a significant thing when you are in the process of dealing with hierarchies or even ETs for that matter. But the prime angels, they're the ones that can significantly drop a psychic or a medium's energy down quite dramatically. So that got taken care of, and this one, the questions I asked, the answers that I got, the basics of this, and he had control of my body in any and every sense of the word. And interestingly enough, including my chakra system and while I was standing near the refrigerator, my chakra system got planted to the ground. I mean, hardcore. I literally was not allowed to pick up even one toe, let alone a foot. I couldn't move any part of my foot, no matter what I did. I could twist and turn and move my arms and things like that, but I could not. And twisting my hips, that was painful because of my tailbone, but I did manage to do that, but I could not bend my knees. It was like, you are stationary. And it wasn't until just before he left that I was like, can you please let me have my feet back? Let me have my chakra system back. And I was like, well, since you have that kind of ability, why not heal me from the certain things that I've experienced? And that's a whole nother subject for the answer, but it was fascinating. Interesting thing, though, things that are going on globally regarding psychics and mediums, some of them are having issues with how they're receiving. Some very predominant ones are having, I'm hearing different things. They're having significant issues with receiving information because they're receiving differently. And it's interesting. Ouch. Sorry. I'm actually popping my toes right now, which feels wonderful. Wasn't able to do that today, so it's like, oh my God, I got my feet back. So I'm finding that interesting in how other psychics and other mediums are receiving information. They're still receiving information, and a lot of information, but it's also about health. Sorry. How we are managing it and how we are dealing with all of the information that is coming in. Humanity, what I was told by this prime angel is basically that humanity is being set up in the next 3 months to make a major shift. It's going to be pretty difficult for a lot of people, but we are not to panic. We are not to be in fear. We're to not maintain the status quo, but I'm trying to phrase this carefully, but we are to really take notice of the things around us. Do what we can, because what will happen is it will raise every frequency with every human on this planet. That's a big deal. Even if they're a negative Nelly, so to speak, a negative person, it'll slightly elevate their frequency, but not enough. But with those that are already significantly higher in their own personal frequencies, it'll significantly raise them up. So, and what I mean by negative Nellies is I mean those who are really detrimental people. I'm not talking about somebody who cannot raise their frequency or hasn't figured out how to do it. I'm not talking about that kind of a person. I'm talking about the ones who are bad people. That's what I'm talking about. Even them, it'll raise their frequency, but it'll be minor, very minor, in comparison to what it will be for the vast other people on this planet. And I had a hierarchy. I didn't realize that they were still here. I just felt it in my body. They're still here. They're listening to what I'm saying. So So that's the word. That's what's supposed to be out and about. Hello to the three who are watching, listening. Um, so it's just whatever is coming, however it's coming. Um, it's going to be interesting. Hang on 1 minute. So, anyway, it's quite the conundrum. It basically means that we're gonna all have to play nice with each other, and that's gonna be really hard for some people. Really hard for some people. Um, Hang on 1 second. I'm checking on something. Um, Hang on a minute, guys. Anyway, hey Tim, welcome, welcome. So just be aware. For me to gain the attention because of what I was doing earlier today of a prime angel speaks volumes as to what is being noticed on this planet. So, wow, I didn't know that. Thanks for the information, Tim. I did not know that. So, life is a bit crazy, and it probably will be for a while, next 3 months. Then after that, I was told that things will calm down. Um, anyway, it's just be prepared. Start, make sure you've got um, extra things that you may need. Because I don't know how this is. I mean, the way he talked, I don't know how it's going to play out, but the way I've been shown over the course of the last few months and last few years, I've already been shown how it will play out. So that makes me wonder if the other side is going to change some things and how they're going to change it, exactly what the timeline is going to be. I kept getting told 333 333, and I kept asking, are you talking 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years? What are we dealing with? And I got told, no, you're going to be looking at in the next 3 months, and then after that, it'll calm down dramatically. But it's hello, scared the shit out of me. I'm on a live broadcast right now, and I can't hear him because I got headphones on. Hello to my new subscriber. So anyway, yeah, go back into the S4 paranormal bunker, and that will tell you what is going on for a while. Anyway, we had quite the show tonight, quite the conversation. Anyway, anybody have any questions? Because I know there's probably quite a few questions about this. Oh, thank you, Tim. I just thank you. I appreciate that. Anyhow, one of the things that was talked about were possible ET abductions and where people can go. I'm going to see if I can find that right now. One of the places that people can look for sightings, and this is within the United States only. No, I've got 3 of you on here right now. I've got you and Amy and Robert who are listening in, Tim. New Fork. National UFO. Oh God, I can't remember what New Fork stands for. Hang on a minute. New Fork. New Fork. There we go. National UFO Center. Whoops, hello. Oh, MF. Okay. Sorry. That's kind of I've just got a serious situation here. Very serious situation. Okay. National UFO Reporting Center. That's the word. I always forget the word reporting. Anyway. Yeah. Thank you, Tim. I know what you meant. I was just notified something very, very serious nearby my home. Very serious, in fact. Anyway, so if I go off, there's a reason for safety and security for me. I'm just letting you know that now. Anyhow, life is crazy sometimes. And today has been a wild, wild ride. So today's kind of an open conversation. I was going to talk about angels. Are there other angels out there? Yes, there's all kinds of other angels out there. There's the angels that the Catholic Church talks about, and then there's other angels that are even farther than that. Of course, that also goes hand in hand with, so you got the good with the bad. Some call it evil. Call it a mixed bag, but then you've got the wannabes and the true demons and things like that. So that's paranormal. You get the paranormal, and then there's the ET abductions. And because of what we talked about tonight on the S4 Paranormal Bunker, just recently changed its name back to original name. I'm going to bring up some of the things because I did mention my channel on the show tonight, and I don't always do that unless it's been requested, but this time it was necessary. So for those that don't know, I'm 56 years old. I've been an ET abductee since the age of 3 or 4. I say 3 or 4, but I remember it at 4. I've had psychics tell me that I have been watched since while in crib. I've even had one here, I can deal with that. I've even had one ET here, yeah, new fork. Copy and paste. Here we go. I've even had one psychic medium tell me that the while in utero in my mother's womb, that they were seeing how I was doing. That's something. My point is that as an ET abductee, and me remembering, I don't remember all of my experiences, but I do, good grief, but I do remember many abductions. And one of the things that was read tonight were things about abductees who don't know that they're abductees, but now they've got questions. So then it becomes, what are the questions? And they're asking, well, I've got marks on my body. And I came across somebody else who had the same marks. We've never met before, and this was a shock. Well, start checking your body. You know, there are very specific, like triangular dots, dot, 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 that kind of thing. There are actual people who've had scar marks in the shape of a triangle on their wrists, on their arms, inside of their arms, their legs. There are scoop marks. Usually that starts happening at childhood, but it has been known to affect adults as well, have it happen while the person is an adult. There are so many factors to being an ET abductee. There are folks that I have known that have had what look like radiation burns on their skull or the back of their neck. Backs of their inside of their legs, their knees. Excuse me. And you can, I even years ago, I think it was 6 years ago, I had somebody as a smartass come into one of the chats. I was on a live broadcast. I was in a group, and some troll came in and asked, well, you're morbidly obese. How the hell can you be an ET abductee because you're so fat? Well, I had choice words for that. And yeah, you can be an ET abductee at any frickin' size. Does not matter. And I wasn't like that when I was younger. So most of this came on when I had my first back injury in 2008. I was big to begin with, but I wasn't like this now. So, and 2 back injuries can really do it. My point is that doesn't matter what size you are, doesn't matter if you have a physical disability or not, you can be an ET abductee. Doesn't mean that you are, but it doesn't, those kind of things do not rule it out. And it can be because of your genetics. It can be because of blood type. It can be, there's so many factors to it. It's not even funny. And what is frustrating is that it is a process. You have to know that. You have to learn to understand that it is being an abductee. Being an abductee is a process mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. What program are you part of? What program have they put you a part of? Are you in a hybrid program? Are you in a different kind of program that they've put you in? Is it what's, I mean, they can use us for a wide variety of things. So you got to keep all of that in a frame of mind. But the biggest thing is working through the fear factor and then working through your anger. Just because I'm talking about it now doesn't mean that I still don't go through fear or that I don't go through anger. I still go through that periodically. In 2019 and in 2020, I was exceptionally angry because prime example, I was brought back from an abduction and they put me back on my bed, put me actually through, I was up in the air and so the bed's down here. I was literally in the air being levitated, come down through, and then they literally raised the blankets and I came completely through. I felt the blankets go through my body, my entire body. And then I'm like maybe that high, quarter of an inch, half an inch, if that, off the bed, and I get dropped. And I'm literally, my brain is wide awake at this point. My brain is starting to become wide awake by the point that I'm way, way up above my bed. And I'm screaming and they would not allow my eyelids to open up. They had complete control of my body. I could not move in any way, shape, or form. So by the time I was dropped on the bed, I literally, even with the back injury, I had so much adrenaline in me. And normally to get up and out of bed at that moment in time was very difficult. I mean, I did it, but it was very difficult because of the back injury. But because of the very, very high level of adrenaline that I was going through, basically, I popped right up out of bed and I started going after the ET because they're still in my room. And I literally, that's when and I'm telling them, because I'm so pissed off at them, I'm literally telling them that if they don't leave me the F alone, if I ever got my hands on a hatchet, I was going to chop them into little bits. So, and I had an ET, I had a hand on my back, and I had a set of hands. I always say one hand, but it's a set of hands on each arm. Two different ETs, one behind me, so you're looking at three ETs and one in front of me, and going I mean, it was a little bit more than that. Hey, Simon. It was a little bit more than that, but that's essentially it in a nutshell. And I was livid. I was really, really pissed off, really, really angry because they had done something. And for me to become, I'm the kind of person to where I'm usually very calm, cool, collected. But if you do something or the ETs do something that I honestly and truly in my soul believe is completely wrong, I will fight. I mean, it's like every ounce, every cell in my being knew that whatever it was wrong. And they were trying to force me to do so, and I literally started fighting. They didn't like that, so they brought me home. They brought me, and I was really vocal. I wasn't just verbally vocal. They literally shut my mouth. They zipped the lips. I could not move. But you know what I could do? I could scream in my head. And let me tell you, when a human screams in their own head and projects, boy, does it piss them off. It freaks them out. And they literally had the form of controllers controlling me for the abduction back home. And I was ice cold, my whole body, because when they abduct, typically they do it in such a way to where your body literally comes out of your clothes. And so as you're taken up, it literally, you're butt ass naked. And so at that time, it was winter time. I was ice cold. Now these were the ETs that were not very nice. These were ETs that were working with U.S. military. So whatever it was that, and to this day I don't remember. I do not remember what it was that they were trying to get me to do or trying to force me to do, and I wouldn't do it. So no matter what size you are, they can abduct you. They can take you. They will, if there's a specific thing that they're going after. And with me, they did a lot of different things. Oh my God, Sovereign. Hey, Sovereign, how you doing? So, yeah, it just, so, I was reading one of Sovereign's questions. Yes, I'll answer that in a minute. So yeah, it doesn't matter what size you are. Doesn't matter how old you are. If there's a purpose, and that's why I always say, start verbalizing, even if you're by yourself, or start. And I said this tonight on at the show I was on, the S4 Paranormal Bunker. I tried and hopefully made it very clear that if you are an ET abductee or suspect you are, verbally state out loud and or in your own head and ask questions. Why are you taking me? Why are you abducting me? Well, they look at the word abduction as a dirty word. I'm like, I don't give two shits if that's what you think of it as. But, and that's for the negative ETs. So yeah, it becomes quite the, but ask the questions. So if you've got questions, start asking them, because when they are there to abduct and they've knocked you out, because they can control your brain. And not all, and it's interesting because not all ETs can do that. There are very specific races that can talk. To the human brain in such a way, and can manipulate the human brain in a very specific way, and they can shut a lot of things out. Okay, so Sovereign says, when did they close your eyelids? I've heard of this with kids. Rob from Typical Skeptic channel had that happen to him when he was a kid. Same happened to me when I was young. What I'm wondering is if this eye shutting thing is usually done to younger people, or does this happen to, at someone at any age? Any age. It depends on what the goal is, Sovereign. It depends on if you're in a program or not. There are some races that want you to remember. But the thing is that what they have figured out is that most humans start to panic, especially when they're being taken on board ship. Have you ever seen the movie Jupiter? I don't remember what year. I want to say 2015 or 16. Let me see if I can. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Let me see if I can call it up. Okay. Jupiter Ascending, 2015. So in that movie, when you watch the one of the very first scenes when the woman is taken up from a multi-story building, they come out of a portal of glass and then starting to be taken up and they're ascending. That's really, really similar to what it's like. You feel all the air around you. You feel how cold it is. The only reason why they don't do that with me now is because I bitched and whined and cried about it, because I'm like, you will literally make me sick. You're abducting me and forcing my body to be butt ass naked, not a stitch of clothing. You're bringing this fat body up into the sky through this. I don't remember what I called it. I keep calling it a portal. It's not a portal, but it's exactly like in that movie. That's the only way I can ever, because that's what I felt. My physical body, my eyelids are shut. They will not allow me to physically see anything. And it's because the height at which you go up is so astounding in many ways, uh, and you're just brought up, and as you're brought up through the ceiling, out the window, through a wall, whatever, and yeah, I've gone through glass. My body has gone through glass. I can't even begin to describe. I don't even know what the human words are to describe the feeling of going through glass, or going through a wall. I could feel every stud, every nail, the sheetrock, plaster, everything. You can even feel the electricity. It literally, you go right through it. Sovereign says, okay, Sovereign. Jupiter Ascending, yep, solid moving, talks about big truths. Yes, it does. In many aspects, actually. Okay, you just brought a huge thing with me. If they have you naked, then where are your clothes? I think this is why at times we see random clothes, and especially shoes left behind on the ground. Yeah, in many cases, not all, but in many cases. How I'm abducted. Hang on a second, my back is really bothering me. I've had an awful lot happen today. So basically, how I'm abducted, and everybody's abducted differently, but how I'm typically taken is when I'm in bed. I have been known to be taken out of this chair, and I throw a royal shit fit about it. Because I hate it when they do that. I'm like, if you have to take me out of my bed. Because they'll put me back in this chair. They'll bring you back and put you where they first found you. And then try to do screenshots and all this shit. And I get really angry about that. So one of the things that I have Yeah, okay, so one of the things that I just don't want to forget, somebody please remind me. I want to talk about when they take you back on, when they bring you on board, they put you in clothing. I do not want to forget that. But when they abduct you from wherever, and I only, in the last year, less than a year actually, have had a memory of my mom and I being abducted. When I'm still trying to pinpoint the location so that I can look on Newfork or even a MUFON, a free MUFON website, to find out if there was any ships that were seen in that area. So I'm trying to pinpoint the year and how old I was at the time. Because I was pretty young. I was way under 10, but I'm not, I was older. I believe I was older than 5, but I was younger than 10. Or actually, I think I was younger than 8, but that's beside the point. So I've got this timeline, and I'm trying to figure out what part of that year I went. Because if I can find it'll help me validate in some semblance to validate my own experience. When I told my mom, and this happened real recently, I'll get to that in a minute, Simon. That's an excellent question, so please leave it up. So many of you know that my mom has Alzheimer's dementia, and she doesn't communicate hardly at all. And if she likes you, she'll say hi, and that's pretty much it. But my family who's on the other side will periodically bring her to me in dreams. Excuse me. And so we will have conversations. And not very long ago, like within the last month, 2 months, when we had our meeting, I asked her, and this might make me cry, so please bear with me. I asked her, I said, do you remember the van and driving the van? And I told her something very specific. And she said, yeah, why are you asking about that? And I said, do you remember because she was fully aware, fully mentally aware in the dream, which meant that she was okay. Consciously or subconscious, how do you phrase that? Anyway, because she's not there while she's awake, and while she's asleep, she's very much conscious. Although she does have her moments where she's not, and she goes into these Alzheimer's dementia fits. So even in her sleep. So this is one of the times where she was lucid, very, very, very lucid. And I said, do you remember the bright white light? And she lost her shit. She started crying. She goes, that was when we were abducted. For my mother to use the A word, to state abducted, and then later state in the conversation that we were taken by extraterrestrials. I never thought I would hear that from my mother. Never thought I'd hear that from my mother. And she said, that wasn't the first time, Nikki. We were taken right out of the van. So When I say this is a process as an ET abductee, I mean it is a process. My mom is 86 years old. I'm 56. This is a lifelong series of events. And to have that kind of situation take place, she remembered it. She even described bits of it. Not much, but enough to where I knew she remembered. And we eventually had a conversation in that dream about why she, trying to be careful how I say this, why throughout almost her entire life, she read books on ETs and read books on energy and psychics and all sorts of paranormal stuff. And it just, sorry, my body's popping. It was moving, Sovereign. Sovereign just asked, was the van stationary or moving? It was moving. It literally, I've never said that publicly. I've never even talked about it. Hang on. Triggered something, Sovereign. Just a minute. We were going up a mountain. The van was literally picked up in the process of moving, doing 60 miles an hour, or trying to do 60 miles an hour up a hill, up a mountain hill. I will never forget the sound of the wheels spinning, because my mom's foot was still on the pedal, the gas pedal. Sorry, guys. That's something I've never talked about, ever. So when I say this can happen at any time, however, when we were brought back at a different location on the mountain, coming down the hill, and the vehicle was pulled over and stationary. My mom had to take it out of park. She had her foot on the brake and she had to take it out of park. And the wheel was turned going downhill. Anyway, yeah. So, I've missed a few of these, but I'll if you've asked me questions, Sovereign, I will get to them. It's just going to take me a few minutes. So my point is that, yeah, it doesn't matter where you're taken from. It can happen anytime, anywhere. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I have to get into my... yuck. That was gross. I have to get into one of my tablets, so I apologize for any sound this is going to create. There we go. Okay. So, not only can you be taken from anywhere at any given moment in time, I didn't expect to cry bald last time. Fucking hell. No. I'll tell you about a different answer to that in a minute. Ouch. that hurts. Okay, Sovereign. Let's see. Let me go back up. Left on the ground. Listening. I found so many gems of reports on New Fork. Yes, so have I. There are a lot of really good. There's very few of what I have actually seen. The only person that has actually validated and stated what I have witnessed is our Keith Andrews. And my intuition knew that he was telling me the truth. There were a number of reasons why I know that he's telling the truth on a number of factors. So yeah, it gets to be very interesting. Yeah, I understand that. Then don't. Just stay listening. But I get it. No, it was just messaged. So anyway, so Simon, Nikki, after all these years, shouldn't they know your preferences by now? Maybe it's different ones each time. Okay, so in answer to that question, yeah, until that starts happening again here, then that's what's going to happen. Sorry, I'm answering because I know somebody else that's listening. So if that takes place again, then that's exactly what will take place. I will deal with it. Thank you for the heads up and the reminder. Okay, sorry guys. I hate doing that on camera. But yes, they should. My preference, okay, here's the thing. When you're an ET abductee, unless you make the conscious recognition of what is taking place, you're pretty much in shock at the time that you're being abducted. You don't think that way. The only reason why I started thinking that way, Simon, was because I was shaking so bad during that situation when I was brought back during the winter time. And that's what would actually, most of the times, other than that one anger or rage moment when I told him what I did about the hatchet, I specifically had a number of situations where they were bringing me back during the winter time, butt ass naked, and what would start waking me up out of bringing me back into my consciousness state, like I'm talking now, kind of consciousness state, awake and aware and all of that, was the cold on my body. And my body temperature, I'm just going to be blunt, my body temperature drops significantly when I sleep. Everybody's does. But for me, my body temperature very, very significantly drops. And that is usually not taken into account unless I'm actually on board ship. Second you leave that ship, it's a different frickin' ball game altogether. So, Simon, in answer to that question, I was not able to make that distinction until one time when I came back and my teeth were chattering so bad, my body was so cold. My body was so cold that my teeth, I was beyond bone chilled, that my teeth actually started chattering in my head because I could not control it. And my teeth chattering is what I was shaking. I was starting to shake really bad in my body. They weren't recognizing it. And I don't know why they weren't recognizing it, but they were not recognizing it. And in the process of that, it started the teeth chattering in my head. Uncontrollable reaction. and the teeth chattering, it was solid. I literally, and it's weird because they had my eyes closed. I could not open my eyes no matter what I did. But yet and I couldn't open my mouth, but for whatever reason, they literally, and they knew my teeth were chattering, which is weird. I'm like, so why aren't you paying attention to this human that you're bringing back? Didn't matter. Anyway, the point is that my teeth were chattering, and by the time they put me under the covers again, brought me through all the blankets and then eventually my pajamas, and then under the sheet. Well, actually, it's the pajamas go on first. You're butt naked when you're brought in. You're hovered above your bed. The pajamas are somehow put on you, and it's literally, it's like they are above your body in full length. Because for me, when I sleep in a nightie. Now I have slept in pants and t-shirts and shorts and shirts and underwear or just nothing. But then the last couple of years, I've slept in a nightie because of the ET abductions, actually, I need something close to my skin. And the nighties, the cotton nighties, they are close to my skin. So that said, and I don't give a shit who knows that. Big effing deal. Whoopee frickin' do. So the point is that the clothing hovers above your above or below your body? No, below your body, because as you come down, the clothes are, I was going to say manifested. That is not the word I want to say. Rematerialized onto your body, and you're literally then going down through the blankets and then through the sheet and then onto the bed. You're literally rematerialized to where your body is like right there on the bed, or you're dropped on the bed anywhere from a quarter of an inch to a couple of feet, depending upon the race of ET that's taken you. And I've typically had pretty decent ETs that when they've brought me back, that's what they've done. But back in the day when I was sleeping butt-ass naked, I wasn't registering that that's what was taking place, because my body has changed. Right after I had a certain kind of ET hybrid human baby, my body chemistry changed in such a way to where I became, and that was in my 30s, early 30s. Excuse me, my body couldn't handle the cold anymore. Couldn't handle the sun, couldn't handle the cold, and it's totally because of being an abductee. And I know this, but I can't freaking medically prove it. So they know preferences. After that incident, when I was taken again, I literally left a message. It's like leaving them a message. The minute you leave a message or verbalize something, the moment they abduct you, they literally see and hear and read everything it's like downloading all of your memories. I don't know exactly how it's done. I just know that it's done in an instant, and it happens with such speed that they know this is what you want to know from them. This is how they want to I got somebody here. It's driving me nuts. Sorry. I've got a spirit here screwing with my fan. I don't have the patience for that tonight. Not after everything I've been through today. Anyway, so the point is in order to answer that question, that's the only way I can explain it. That's why I say if you're just now making the realization that you're an ET abductee, verbalize before you go to bed or state it in your head. Do a self-talk, but you're specifically talking to the ETs who abduct you. I want to know that. And what I specifically told them in that situation was, look, you're going to make me very, very ill, very, very sick, because you're bringing me back and I'm ice cold. I am so bone cold, I can't get warmed up. It's taking me hours upon hours, up to 6 hours just to get warm. You will literally make any human that you abduct very sick because of that. And I said, whatever it is, however it is that you're doing, you need to bring us back where we are warm. So right after that, the next number of times, they made me too hot. Kind of lost my shit over that one. But, and now they've got it to where they've got the right temperature on me when they're bringing me out of the ship and bringing me down into my bed again. If you don't want to be taken in your vehicle, if you don't want to be taken, you can state that. I don't want, and it may be to where, for example, I was out camping one year and I knew, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I knew I was going to be taken. And I literally said, I do not want to have this and this and this happen. Please deal with this appropriately. And I said it, I didn't say appropriately. I used different, I was very specific. Because that's the one thing that I've learned is that many of these races that are abducting, they're very legalistic. Very, very legalistic. And so when you set a boundary, they try to abide by it in a very specific way if they can. So that's why I have said what I have. Now, I haven't read chat in quite a while, so let me get back through chat. I would hear here and there that at times, and this is from Sovereign, that at times they don't place people back where they've kidnapped them from. Yeah, there are times where they don't. You get some people got put in different places. Sovereign, do you think it was related to the mountain of why you all were taken? No, I know it wasn't. I know what mountain I was at. Quit with my ears right now. I swear. Stop it. I got a energy being here. Well, I'm gonna say a hierarchy, but it's anyway. That's a different subject. Anyhow, no, it wasn't where I was at. Although the ones that took us are different than the ones that were working with the U.S. military. These were the ones who were doing the hybridization programs. So yeah. Sovereign, and how long do you think y'all were gone for? I know how long we were gone for. We were 6 hours late. We were supposed to be at a family member's farm. And we were 6 hours. We were overdue. We were gone for more than 6 hours. Because Mom made it a major point with me that we would get to the ranch early. It was like something like an hour or two early. So, and I think it was closer to 2 hours, like an hour and a half to 2 hours early. is what I really should say. And so, and I know I have stated that you'd have to go back in and look, because I don't honestly remember which broadcast it was or what the date was on it, but I think I have talked about this before, this part of it before. But we were overdue. We were over 6 hours overdue. And so that means that we would have been gone, figure 7.5, 8 hours. So that's a pretty big freaking chunk of missing time. And back then, you're dealing with the 1970s. So back then, there were no cell phones. There were, I mean, you had the pay phones and that kind of thing. And we were way out in the no man's land, Tules of the mountain range. So Simon, Keith's great. Yes, he is. He's really good. Simon, you were so strong dealing with all of this. You have to be. If you're an ET abductee, that's one of the things that I've also learned is most of us are very strong in how we deal with all of this. So, Sovereign, these are extremely important details. Thanks so much for sharing. I remember reading at times they leave abductees' clothes neatly folded. Oh, it depends on the race. I can actually speak to that. That depends on the race of ET. Not all ETs will do that. Simon, they don't sound very advanced if they can get the aircon right. It's not an air conditioner. It's the basically, okay, so here's something that I haven't talked about. At least I don't remember talking about it. What they do is they screw with the brain in such a way that they make you think and believe that your body is warm. They actually do not put clothing on you. So you're still going down the shaft, down the energy shaft, down into your home, butt ass naked. You're not being brought in with clothing because they don't want that that clothing that you were in on their ship. They don't want that coming into your home because then it becomes contaminated. Trying to cheer you up. I appreciate that, sweetheart. Thank you. I do appreciate that, Simon. But here's the interesting thing. They literally screw with the human brain in such a specific way that they make the abductee, that the abductee's body believe it's nice and comfortable and warm. So ever since, that is what I've always believed. And I know it's not true because I can feel it in my lungs. That's one of the ways that I know when I've been taken now. Because if it's cold outside, my lungs feel it. There are times where it's been really, really cold outside or snowy, which hasn't happened in a while. Hasn't happened. The snow thing. Sorry, I was thinking of the snow thing. Anyway, the point is my lungs, when they start warming up, they have a tendency to feel like they're on fire. And that's what gets me to recognize that I've just been taken. Although now that I've said that out loud and have thought it out loud, or have thought it in my head, they'll probably make a change for that. But for the most part, that's what I have learned. Now everybody is different, but hello. I've become very aware when I get brought back home. Now, one of the things that I made a statement publicly, and then I did it in a group, and I was specifically told by somebody, you do realize that the good ETs, they don't use straps. And I'm like, so I'm changing subjects here, but we're still dealing with ET abductions. And it was only when that was said to me that I went, oh my God, that person's right. Holy, I had a lot of verbal, I wasn't happy when I said, with everything that I said over that. When I made that realization, it was really, really, really intense. Kind of lost my shit over it because it is a very, very big deal. I have come back with strap marks. I've come back with strap marks on these fat arms, and I've come back with them on my ankles and on my upper thighs. And I am here to tell you, those strap marks, they don't last long. I don't know how, but they don't last long. And I've had muscle problems and I've had all sorts of stuff. But yeah, when my body starts screaming at me and I even get one hint of recognition, that realization in my head that I am on board a craft and my body hurts, I start screaming it in my head. My tailbone hurts. My back hurts. In other words, shift me, motherfucker. Because I am here to tell you I'm in pain. And I don't want my body to be in pain when I get home because of whatever the F you're doing to me. So I get really, yeah, drop a big pile of cash. That would be nice. Speaking of tailbones, hang on a second, guys. I've got to get something because I'm really starting to hurt. Hang on 1 minute. Oh, I can't handle that much longer. So, anyway, I use this for my back. See if I can handle that a little bit more tonight. It really has been quite the 24 hours. Quite the 24 hours, to say the very least. There we go. Just a little bit of pressure. Anyway, and he's about ready to take a dive. That would be bad. Okay, so, whoops. Hello. Anyway, he was going to be talking about I was not anticipating talking about ETs tonight, but that's all right. Excuse me. After what I made a realization of regarding folks on different social media who are true ET abductees and who are looking for support. There are multiple places of support. You will find different people that I have posted, and as you can see, I'm really tired. I'm starting to get right up and through here, and getting the dark things on my eyelids and stuff. So, and I couldn't handle wearing makeup today. I was just like, oh my God, no. But there are people who are true ET abductees who are looking for support and really need it. And there are places you can look at and people that you can reach out to. I'm one of them. I know R. Keith Andrews is another. Samantha Mowat is another. There are many others who are out there. Sorry, guys. Who are willing to talk openly about their experiences and who are willing to have conversations. There are people with groups as well, with as many yeah, I know, Simon, thank you. With as many abductees as there are. Sorry, guys. It really has been a long day, especially dealing with a Prime Angel. That is an energy wiper right there. I really had to fight to even be able to do the one show tonight and then to do my show. So I really had to fight my body to be able to do this tonight. So there are people who are looking, and with as many ET abductees that are out there, and we're talking, hey, Joe, fork the government spies. Yeah, no shit. When you look at the amount of sightings and compare what's military versus what is non-military, that is otherworldly, it's really it's really astounding with the amount of witnesses who have seen UFOs. I'm not going to say UAPs, but who have seen unidentified flying objects, or even UFOs coming out of oceans or bodies of water. It makes a significant difference to make the realization that there are millions of ET abductees across the planet. And that's in my estimation. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I truly believe that there are that many. Now, how many of those millions are, God dang it. Sorry, folks. Sorry. How many of those abductees are ETs working with a government versus ETs versus just ETs abducting? Then you subdivide that list of ETs who are abducting down into subcategories, because then you're looking at ETs that are doing it for hybridization. Then you look at it for ETs who are doing it for various science experiments. Then you're looking at it. I mean, humans can even be food for some races. Yeah. Joe. Extraterrestrials and the government have a new machine that makes you yawn. Oh, you guys crack me up. Yeah, and Sovereign says so many abductions don't get reported. You'd be blown away at how many homeless people get taken. And no, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Doesn't matter from what population you come from. Doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or if you're homeless. People are taken all over this planet. Doesn't matter if you're in a cave or in a 60-story apartment building with a lot of money. It doesn't matter who you are. It boils down to the genetics. It boils down to what is it that they're doing and their goals. What are their programs that they're doing? Oh my God. Sorry. We may have to end this early, but if I could get to 2 a.m., 2:15, which will be 20 minutes, I think that's probably my minimum tonight. But yeah, it's really a big deal, and I know that there are more people out there who really want to talk about those subjects, and what I mean by people, I mean abductees who are just making the realization. Did you know? Have you made the realization that there are other abductees that you have come in contact with that They didn't know you're an abductee. You didn't know that they were an abductee, but for whatever reason, you guys unexpectedly met up. In my estimation, to me, that's part of soul contracts. But it's also part of, it's also part of being an ET abductee. You gravitate towards them. And part of it is because of your experiences. Part of it is also because of the fact that, hello, the two of you may have been an abductee on board one specific ship when you were children or when you were adults. And it's just now starting to come together where they're starting to make their realizations, you've made yours, and boom, you come together and you start talking about it. So, abductees tend to gravitate towards each other, and they recognize, real ET abductees typically recognize other real ET abductees. There are things where you can usually tell when somebody's bullshitting and faking the information and they're full of shit. So, something that is very, very rare in this genre, in this industry, in this field, in this community, is an abduction with blue light. That's something that we had talked about tonight on a different show. Usually it's white light, but it can be other colors, but it's very, very rare. So it's fascinating how all of this comes into play. One of my recommendations, sorry, I'm clicking with my nails and it's just out of, I was going to say habit, but that's not even habit. It comes out of being abductee. Okay, great. Sorry, folks. So yeah, it is just start writing a journal. This is one of the reasons, and I'm going to show this again. This is one of the reasons why I keep this is just a basic, ordinary notebook journal. It's 80 pages. And on one side, I usually write all kinds of sayings, but I always make a cover, or almost always make a cover. And this one I needed because I knew that this one would take me most of the year, because I've been keeping track of different things in different ways now. I don't just write it down by hand. I don't just write it down. I type it a lot. And hey, Woo Writers, I type it as well. And I keep documentation in a wide range of methods. But it all gets kept. And I do it that way so that I don't leave out anything. Because I will be writing my book. Granted, I haven't written for my book in quite some time, but yet at the same point, that's not necessarily true because I've been keeping pretty damn excellent notes regarding my experiences. So, anyway, tonight has been today has been, well, there's a helicopter. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. Can feel it in my feet. The cement under my feet. Lost my train of thought. Anyway, just make sure you write up notes. And when you write notes, make sure you date them and date what your memories are for, because that's how you can write your book. It works really, really good that way. And I'm going to start sneezing. Oh, man, I'll start sneezing. Anyway, good night, Tim. And all got one more day of work to go. Okay, sweet dreams, dear one. Take very good care of yourself. Get some good sleep. On season 1, they have 3 seasons. Just came out. Blue Riders. What did I miss? Oh, you're in the process of leaving, aren't you, Simon? That's fine. Anyway, cloaked helicopters, yeah. They have a tendency to fly over at specific hours of the night. It's not very often that they fly during the day. In the TV show from... Oh, okay, got it. Anyhow, what was I gonna say? So if you are an ET abductee, just know that you're not alone. Keep journal notes. Take pictures the second that you realize. See, when I get taken from my bedroom. And when I get taken, when I come back, I literally pop up out of bed is not the right way to say it, but I get up out of bed, I grab my phone, and I start taking pictures of my entire room because I want to know what's changed. Have they messed with anything? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Not always do they mess with it, but sometimes they do. And when you have a locked bedroom door, barred bedroom door, and you know nobody else can get into your room, that's when I start calling into question as to who's been in my room while I've been and then I'm like, oh my God, okay. Well, start looking. You got to get in the habit of when you think you've been taken. Like, I got a scar on here I didn't even know I had. I'm just now seeing it, and it's because of the light. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if that'll pop up. Nope, you're not going to be able to see it. It's right here. You're not going to be able to see it. The light's not right. Well, there's a first for everything now, isn't there? So I've had the ETs. I've had. Okay, here's the pen. I've had human carpal tunnel on this hand. I've had ET carpal tunnel done on this hand. They've literally replaced part of my throat. They've literally given, this is my left ear, they've literally removed the eustachian tube out of my left ear and replaced it with a form of ET human tissue that they built and created specifically for me out of my own tissue. Don't ask me how they did that. I don't understand it. I just know that they did it. And they did surgery on me. So this, and if I could prove it, I freaking would in a heartbeat. So I think that happened in 2020 or 2021. Because I got ordered not to speak. Because they replaced this eustachian tube and they replaced the connection tissue that goes from the eustachian tube into the throat. And then they replaced half of the tissue going this way. So all the tissue going over that way on the inside of my throat. And they made it larger. And they shaved off part of my tongue. Oh, God, I cried. I actually called one of the very first people I called right after it was I talked to Lynn Wallington. She's now Lynn Hurley. I will always think of her as a Wallington. I'm sorry, Lynn. But I talked to Lynn Hurley about it at the time. She was Lynn Wellington, and she goes, "You can barely talk. Are you okay?" And so I explained what had just happened, and told her what I was told. She's full of shit. You asked. That's my real answer. She's full of shit. Because I know that's not true. And if I could prove it, I would. But I know that that is not true. Anyway, so, and I'm not going to read that because I'm not going to speak that name on my show. Anyway, I do not think very highly of her. I will say that. Anyway, boy, that woke me up. I got angry over that. I got really angry over that. That really woke me up. No. No. That's no. Be nice, Nikki. I have choice things to say over that. Anyway, so when they did all of this, it was because of I have sleep apnea. They did this because of my sleep apnea, and they wanted me alive. And well, that's another one I'm not going to comment on. I will not comment on that one. So basically, whoops. Basically, they did it to keep me alive. No, that's fine, Simon. No, there's no sorries about it. There we go. I get it. I people like who they like. Totally understand that. So there's a reason that they've kept me alive. They've made it to where they've told me how to take care of my body at times. There have been times where I have been instructed to avoid certain things and to take certain things or to eat certain things. I wouldn't necessarily say that. There's certain kind of ETs that don't intend to harm people, but they don't realize that they do. They do not, like I said, they don't intend, they don't mean to, but they do in some fashion or form. So, yeah, it makes it kind of convoluted, Simon, because basically, they truly don't intend on harming, but they are not recognizing, some of the races, they do not recognize that they actually are inflicting harm. Yeah, woo riders. And then there are the man-eating aliens. Yep, some of them. You want to talk to R. Keith Andrews for stories on that. I do not have stories on that. That's I just know about it, and I know that he's telling the truth. Sovereign. Woo writers, but I don't agree at all. There are definitely negative. Yeah, there are. Not all ETs are any. Okay, listen. Anyone who promotes that all ETs are bad is full of shit. Anybody who is promoting that all ETs are good are full of shit. They either don't have the real information, or they truly honestly believe what it is that they're spouting, that what they're saying. Because there's literally, just like there is a mix of human beings, there is a mix of ETs, of extraterrestrials. They are very much like us in that way. There are the really good ones that do want well for us. They do want us to succeed in, and it's usually higher consciousness stuff. They do want the good. But then you've got the ones who are just below that, who want the good but don't recognize that they're actually inflicting harm. They're trying what they think is to do good. That looks like I've got a rash, but I just had my arm on my chair. That's why I was leaning too hard on my chair. And they are not recognizing that they are actually inflicting harm, but they don't intend it. Usually you have to tell them that they're inflicting harm. And usually those are also the ones that don't understand human emotion or have bred out human emotion in their own race, which I find really... We'll get into that in a minute, Sovereign, because that's a really... leave that comment up, because that's a really good comment. But basically what ends up happening, so you've got those two levels, then you've got a level to where they're like, whatever, regarding humans. Hello, that just popped up on my screen. That is really bright. That needs to go away. And that needs to go to live chat. I did it again. I can't believe I did that. Anyway, so you've got the ETs that do the then you've got below them are the ETs that are a mix of good and bad, but I don't know what else to call them, so that's where I put them as. Then you've got ones that are below that. I don't know where to classify them as either. I sometimes classify them as the science ones. They have their own agenda. They do their own thing regarding their own sciences, what they want with humans, and do the abductions. And then you've got the bad ones. You've got the ones who are working with the human government. You got the ETs who are working with the human government. And then you've got ones below them. And that's my classification of all of them, because there's so many different races. They all do something different. So not all are bad. Not all are good. Not all are but you get a wide range of ETs doing a wide range of things. And it gets very convoluted. It gets very confusing at times for people. Some people do not... Whoa. Large 7.1 earthquake in South Japan. Seismic spread underway. Holy crapola. When the hell did that happen? Oh, I'll have to look at that later. hang on a second. I want to make sure that I call that up. Yeah, okay, so let's go to this. I want to be sure I do that. Anyway, so there's a wide range. There really, really is a very wide range of ETs abducting. To lump them all as good or to lump them all as evil is pure bullshit. It's lies. And that is what really upsets me when it comes to these different races or these different people who are saying all these things. And it's like, you can't get your heads out of your asses, people. I mean, seriously, this is not okay. It really makes a major, major effect on, there we go, real ET abductees. It makes a huge effect on ET abductees. So it becomes very, very frustrating to those of us who are real experiencers, who've been going through it all of our lives. You know, like I say, I've 56. I've been experiencing this since that I can logically, consciously remember is age 4. I've been told I've been younger than that, anywhere from in the crib, in the cradle, to age 4. So, depending upon who you talk to, 52 years to 56 years of experiences of this. So it's a wild mind bleep. It's a mind F. So that's why I get very, very upset and very angry at different people who spout, oh, it's all this. No, it's all that bullshit. It's a combination of everything under the freaking sun. Are you kidding me? That's not good for our community. Spout the truth instead of spouting this bullshit. Talk about what's taking place. Be real about it. Yeah. So, and certain people get hoodwinked by others. And that gets really frustrating. Sovereign. Those strap marks you mentioned earlier, Nikki, at times they're on the face too. Now I don't know that. I have not been told that. I have heard that can be the case from time to time, but it's not always the case. Here's the thing about strap marks. Strap marks are done by humans working with ET. They are not typically done by ET. ET doesn't have to keep you down that way. ET uses combination of either high energy frequency or they're using some kind of high ET device. I can't think of what there was a phrase I had for those devices. I just don't remember that phrase right now. I'm too tired. But in answer to that question or that statement, now regarding the face and ET abductions, I know I have woken up with a device on my forehead, an ET device on my forehead, and they were don't know if I'm going to say that, but they were ETs. and I was immediately knocked back out. I've woken, and that was in my bed. I've woken up on craft more than a couple of times with that device on my forehead. I can't say on one occasion in my home, I know that the device was touching my head. While on board ET ship, it doesn't feel like it's actually skin to device. So it's not like, so I'm going to use this as an example. This is a chapstick. So it's not like touching like that. It's like just above the surface, barely. You can feel it on the, every part of a human's skin has some form of tiny hair. And so your hair can feel it. I don't know how else to say it, but I'll get to that in a minute, Sovereign. So basically, that's been my experience. So Sovereign says, I almost think all human bases have been ET infiltrated by now. I would tend to disagree with that. Oh, sorry. High-pitched nerve pain. Wow, that was wicked. So, and Woo Rider says, not all Sov, there are some powerful wizards and witches and light beings still protecting humanity. Root Riders. The problem is the souls of men are choosing darkness more and more. They are buying into the media and the blank elite narrative. Yeah, there's some of that. There's quite a lot of that going on, actually. Woo! I'm getting really sharp nerve pains right now. So I think we're at 2:23 a.m. and there goes the snapping and popping of the fingers. It's about time for me to go. If you are an ET abductee and you have questions, you can hit me up on my email, which is restorebelief2022 2022 at gmail.com. So restorebelief2022 at gmail.com. You can also talk to me on Facebook Messenger. And the Facebook account that I use for that is it's facebook.com/Nikki NIKKI.JACOBS.376. You can hit me up on the messenger, and we can have a chat about that. So there are other people in the community that I post in my file folders on, look at the playlist and then scroll down the playlist file folders to see who you want to connect with. There's a number of people. There are also people to take you out on experiences or CE5s. There are people in Las Vegas. There are people in Arizona, Sedona, Arizona. There's a number of people across, I was going to say across the planet, but across the United States. There are numerous different places throughout the world, actually. So for experiences, Doesn't mean abduction. It just means, sightseeing the ETs, so to speak, sightseeing in the skies. Anyhow, I wish you guys well. I hope you take very good care of yourselves. And guess I'm going to have to change the title for tonight. We had an open forum and talking about angels, and we ended up talking about angels and ETs. So, gets kind of interesting sometimes on here. Anyhow, take very good care of yourself. Stay safe, no matter where you live. Remember what was talked about earlier in the night. And don't freak out. Don't use the fear factor, because fear factor is a negative thing. Inform yourself. Protection and information is really important, folks. Anyway, oh my God, I just got told we're being watched by government. Gee, that's nothing new. Anyway, I hope you have a good night and a good rest of your week and a good weekend. Take very good care, guys. I will see you next week. Hopefully, I will be able to get hopefully I will be able to get the link up over the weekend for next week as to which day I'm going to be doing. Take very good care, guys. Bye-bye. I forgot one thing. Please like, share, and subscribe. That helps the algorithms, especially since there's a lot of funky business going on with the algorithms and how many watch and how many likes and all of that kind of stuff. So anyhow, take care. Bye, guys. Where's the end? There it is. Okay, bye, guys.